I stopped believing in ghost stories the day my family migrated away. But 7 years later, a vacation back to our old neighborhood forced me to realize that just because you forget about the dark doesn't mean the dark forgets about you. I was born and raised there, surrounded by the usual neighborhood folklore, until I turned 11. That was the year my family packed up everything and moved across the world. Living in a completely different environment, surrounded by a fast paced modern lifestyle, I left all those childhood ghost stories and paranormal superstitions behind. Over time, I became a total skeptic, but after 7 years of living abroad, my mum decided it was time. She took my siblings and me back for a family vacation. We stayed in our old family home, a house that, for as long as I could remember, had always been whispered about by neighbors as the local haunted house. But since I was older now and didn't care about that stuff anymore, I never gave it a second thought. I would spend hours completely alone in that massive quiet house, and I never felt anything weird, not a single chill. While we were visiting, I wanted to catch up with some of my old childhood friends who still lived in the area, because a lot of them already had young families. Going out to loud bars or busy restaurants wasn't really an option. So, I invited one of my closest friends to come over to our place for a quiet dinner. She had recently given birth, and since I am actually her baby's godmother, I begged her to bring the newborn along so I could finally meet him. When I told my grandma that my friend and the baby were coming over, she got excited and immediately offered to walk down to the local wet market to buy some fresh ingredients to cook something incredibly special for us. I decided to stay behind so the house wouldn't be empty, and so my friend wouldn't have to wait outside with a sleeping baby. At that point, it was just my grandma and me at the house. My siblings had all gone out with their own friends. About 10 minutes after my grandma grabbed her bags and walked out the front door, my friend arrived. Her baby boy was fast asleep in her arms, completely dead to the world. I welcomed her in, and to make sure he wouldn't be disturbed by our loud catching up, I told her she could lay him down in one of the back bedrooms where it was quiet and cool. Once the baby was safely settled, we walked back out to the living room, ready to finally sit down, relax, and talk about how much our lives had changed. But the exact second she sat down on the couch, she froze. Her eyes locked onto the kitchen doorway, and the expression on her face changed into something that made my blood run completely cold. Hit plus for part two, because what she saw standing in our kitchen changed everything.